What's up, NBA fam? What's up, all sports fans? This is JB right here for your Behind the Bench podcast network and channel. Oh boy. I've been waiting on this for over 10 years. For over a decade. And it's really been longer than that, but to say a decade gives an idea how long a lot of the problems and issues and challenges that's been facing the NBA started. Now, you know what this language is right here? It's just a number of measures that will be implemented and go into effect when the new NBA collective bargaining agreement will make its presence known beginning this offseason in preparation for the 2023-2024 NBA campaign and beyond. And let me read some of these protocols. Oh man, this is the creme de la creme. They coming with the real now. It's money time. Now check this out. The NBA is curbing the ability of the highest spending teams, such as the Golden State Warriors and the LA Clippers, to continue, and they're not the only teams doing so, as far as being the highest spenders, to continue running up salary and luxury tax spending while still maintaining mechanisms to add talent to the roster. The league is implementing a second salary cap apron, $17.5 million over the tax line, and those teams will lose several key team building mechanisms, including the taxpayer mid-level exception, utilizing cash-in trades, moving first-round picks in drafts that are 7 years away, signing free agent players in the buyout market, and taking on more money than is being sent out in trades. See, all the manipulation and questionable activity is being weeded out. Now teams got to buckle down to build a winner. Now teams have to buckle down to build a winner. Best thing that's happened to the NBA in over a decade. And these measures are a direct response to what we have seen transpire during the super team era that started in 2010. When you trace it all back, because you know how today's talking heads will try to convince the listener or the viewer that the super team started prior to 2010. But there was never a CBA that was written or drawn up that had to include these type of measures to curtail and weed out the activity, the extracurricular that we've seen transpire for over 10 years. We didn't have that problem back then because superstars weren't joining forces. Superstars weren't stacking the deck. Superstars weren't trying to form Voltron out there. You see? So now teams have to buckle down and pull up their sleeves to build a winner. And what this is showing is that this CBA will lead teams to rely on the most fundamental aspect of team building. DRAFTING. Drafting. And if you don't have any draft picks as a result of trying to win right now, you will fall behind for a very long time. Now, let's go back 2-3 years ago when we saw teams like OKC. They was being ridiculed and scoffed at and laughed at because they decided to start all over again and trade away his top players, stars, superstars, and in return they receive multiple and a wave of first-round picks. Then they start drafting high-level young talent out of college, G League. Now all of a sudden, they getting all this respect. Same thing with Utah. Same type of vision. Trade away, you made your run, you reached your peak with your star players. You trade them away, Donovan Mitchell's, Rudy Gobert's, and Bojan Bogdanovic, and you received a ton of first-round picks and acquired an unsung young talent in Lauri Markkanen, who just happened to win Most Improved Player this year. And during a season where they supposed to be not necessarily tanking, but a non-factor, they were competitive and darn near finished the season 500 and a rebuild starting all over. It's amazing. And most of the teams that have prepared for this new CBA, they're small market teams, and they will be leading the pack. They will be leading the pack. They are, fundamentally, the small market teams have already supplanted the high spending teams that are in win now mode. They've already supplanted. And to show you that's the case, look at the Denver Nuggets, who just won the 23 NBA World Championship, first title in franchise history. A small market team did that. And they did it years before the new CBA was needed, and the activity that had been taking place throughout the league over the past 10 years necessitated that it be done. So in other words, the super team is running its course naturally under its own weight, and now they're going to legislate it out. You won't be able to manipulate. Now you have to truly build. And to me, it's not about generating more parity, but generating more competition. And it will make the players better by working on their game, to where teams won't feel the need, or players won't feel the need to have to form super teams to begin with. And a lot of the problems that we've witnessed over this span of time, it will finally be, let me put it this way, it'll be a thing of the past. It'll be more of an exception than a rule. And the key element is the most basic element of team building there is and ever will be: the draft. And you're going to have draft picks in order to do so. And we've seen example after example over these past 4 seasons where teams, to facilitate a trade to acquire a superstar franchise player, they had to, or felt the need to, relinquish the rights to draft picks 7 years down the road. So this new CBA is really designed to protect those teams from falling over the cliff, per se. So basically, it's going to have to be done naturally for the most part. Of course, there will always be a trade. Of course, free agency will always be there. But it'll be utilized in balance. It'll be utilized in rationality, when appropriate, rather than just trying to go for broke every year, because that formula of win now don't work, and you're going to wind up losing more than you do win. It's a guarantee. It's a lose-lose scenario, especially when it comes to long-term prognostication for your team. So I just want to drop that gold nugget right there, and I'm elated and cannot wait. And again, this has been JB for Behind the Bench. Until next time, I'll holler later.